What's going on, everybody? It's a Wrestling Perspective podcast. We're kind of doing a live version, so if you're not able to watch live on, Periscope or Facebook Live, we're actually one of the many Facebook fan pages for Impact only, so thank you guys for enjoying and hanging out with us. We've got multiple chat rooms, so if you have any questions, jump in, ask them. Petey will answer them, and I'll do my best to facilitate and be the pretty face, essentially, here on this podcast today.
How's she going, eh?
Petey Williams, I know, right? What's going on? It's been a while since you and I have hooked up and hung out, since far before the Las Vegas tapings you just came back from.
Yeah, last week was, that was a rough week for me, doing just being busy, and then we had the TV tapings in Vegas on the back end at Sam's Town Casino. We did 6 TV tapings that day. But, man,
how's the crowds?
Good, man. Like, Friday night was probably, was it our biggest crowd? Friday night was our biggest crowd. Mm-hmm. But they definitely, no offense to, if you were there on Friday nights, thank you so much for supporting us at Impact and joining us there. But they definitely weren't the rowdiest crowd. Definitely not. And that's how it usually is. Usually the biggest crowd's not the rowdiest crowd. But Saturday night, I don't know. And I felt like when I was, aging the matches, producing the shows, watching the shows, Saturday felt like the night that it was just like a great card. It seemed like everything went right. There was no problems. The crowd was so into it. And I don't know if that was part of it. I don't know if it was because the fans were into it. It made the talent work harder, all that kind of stuff. But Saturday definitely was the best night. Sunday night was great too. Friday, all nights were great.
We've got a couple quick questions. Aaron from the Facebook page wants to know, what do you think of Josh Alexander as a recent signing? And do you see any other recent signings coming? And Josh, I've seen him wrestle now a handful of times. And holy cow, if you've not seen The Walking Weapon, Google him. Because there was this one bloodbath of a match. It was the first time I got to see him. And I believe it was the night before the Toronto tapings where he was like taken to the hospital.
We went up together. It was like my birthday or something. I wrestled Elgin, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah. And they were supposed to go, I think, another 10 minutes. They had to go home early. He was just...
He lost so much. They took him to the hospital, and that's when I really thought, this guy is on to something. And I maybe a bad comparison, but I love the old Rick Steiner headgear he wears.
So the funny thing is, I've known Josh for a while. He retired at one point because I don't know if he had like a problem with his neck or whatever, but he's back, and I'm glad he's back, and everything's good with him, and he's just gotten so much better. I met him back in the day at like Alpha 1 or before that, many, many years ago, and I remember seeing him at Ring of Honor back when, when I was in my retirement time. I was just kind of sitting from the back, and him and Ethan Page were in a tag team match, and he was super over with the Ring of Honor crowd in Dearborn. They kept calling him Headgear. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we want headgear, because he wears the headgear.
You're right.
So, that's his thing, and it's awesome that he has that a la Rick Steiner. But Walking Weapon, yeah, I heard about his signing on the way to Vegas on Friday. I sat with Demore on the plane, and it's a great signing. I know I've always wanted him there. I think he adds to the product. And is there more to come? You'll have to wait and see.
I was going to say, you wouldn't tell us even if there was, would you?
No, I can't. But which obviously is like me saying, like, yeah, there's more to come. I just can't say anything.
Preston says hello.
Hi, Preston.
I got to say, we had a question from Detroit Sports Podcast, who is one of the kind folks who also airs our podcast on their little network. And thank you guys so much. He wants to know, what do we think of the Arn Anderson firing, and what is the chances of seeing Arn Anderson in Impact? Now, I think it's 0 in Impact. I think Arn Anderson is perfectly content to ride off into the sunset. Maybe one of those guys where he spent, 17 years? He came over in 2001 when WCW was bought out by WWE. I don't think he goes anywhere else. If he does, it might be All Elite Wrestling, and I hate to even say that because everybody wants to go there. Every time someone messes up or gets fired, it's because they want to go to All Elite Wrestling. But he's got the ties with Dusty Sun and stuff like that. But outside that, are there any ties that you can think of that Arn would have to Impact Wrestling?
Yeah, I met Arn back at a Border City Wrestling show booked by Scott Demore. It was right on the river, Detroit River. Man, I had long hair at the time, so it was probably 10, maybe 13 years ago when I met him. And he was awesome. I mean, Arn would be he's just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to professional wrestling. You know, from what I've read, I don't know the whole thing of why he got fired, but, you know, him and Vince butted
It sounds
heads.
like that.
I mean, okay, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to happen. Arn's going to speak his mind. He's been around forever. Would he fit in with Impact? Yeah, I feel like anybody would fit in with Impact. Would he come? I don't know. I mean, he's been not wrestling, but he's been contracted with WWE for
18 plus years.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like, okay, maybe I'm going to call it a quits now. You know, make some appearances with the Horsemen, whatever the case may be. You know, he doesn't have to do the grind anymore.
No. You know, and it's odd because he's out and they bring in Bruce Pritchard again. And I don't know how I feel about this because I'm not a big fan of bringing back old bookers. I think the time for old bookers is past. This is just me as a fan. You know, there's a reason why Vince Russo isn't back with a major company. There's a reason why Bruce Pritchard's been fired a million times from WWE. He may come back in and maybe light a spark, but outside of that, I feel like maybe his ideas are antiquated to today's wrestling and what today's wrestling fans want.
I mean, when I came back to Impact, it was 2017, and
he was there for like a day, right?
A day. Like we had when I came back.
Cornette.
Well, Cornette, they had just brought back to be
Okay.
like the face of like the commissioner, whatever it is, the general manager, the guy that like makes all the matches and stuff. He had just come back, and then Bruce, and then Big John was there. But it was like Bruce's last day. We had a whole set of TV tapings, like I don't know, like 3, 4, 5 days in a row. And he did day one, and then that was it. Like I guess they wrote him off, however they wrote him off, and you know, it was over. So I mean, I don't have a lot with Bruce. I think he was there when I was there in like 2013 or 14, whenever that was. You know, I mean, obviously I talked to him, but
Outside of that,
yeah, like I mean, we never talked character development because each time I came in, it was just I was there for just a little bit, and that was it.
How do you think now with the Vegas tapings? And I think I briefly asked you about this, and you kind of gave me the political correct answer, even over text between you and I. The vibe backstage now without Abyss, without Sanjay Dutt. I mean, seriously, there's got to be some sort of hole or void, or the mood had to have been a little bit different without those two guys running around.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we joked around. We went to the first production meeting, and we're like, you know, sarcastically, we're making fun of Sanjay. You know,
Right.
Sanjay's all of our friends. You know, he rubs everybody the right way.
Right.
And I shot him a text. I'm like, hey, man, you're late for the production meeting. He's like, oh, man, I'll be right down. You know, like that kind of thing.
Right.
Because we're all still friends, you know, and we understand
You
business
can't blame
is business.
them.
Yeah, I mean, business is business, right? I mean, and you can't feel sour about that. But, yeah, I mean, not too much was mentioned about Abyss. Abyss was an agent. Sanjay was, like, the guy that would, like, get the formats and all that kind of stuff and, like, lay out the formats. And we kind of joked because we're like, man, we're actually filming the show in order right now without Sanjay here. You know, like, it's just weird how that worked out with Jimmy and all that kind of stuff because now Jimmy does the formats. And we were talking about, like, how smooth the show is without Sanjay and stuff, and there was a lot of like F Sanjay, you know, that kind of thing. But it's all in good fun. Like I don't think anybody meant it by heart or anything like that. And I was texting him the whole time I was down there.
Did your workload increase without him there? Because look, whether fans of the podcast may know it, but if you're watching on Facebook or watching on Twitter right now, you guys may not know that Pete, you're not just a wrestler for Impact. I mean, you don't wrestle anymore apparently, but you're an agent, you're a producer, you sit in on the booking meetings, you do so much stuff backstage that we may talk about here on the podcast, but you don't really talk about on Twitter. So what did that do for your role?
I mean, I don't know if my workload increased. It's hard to tell because, you know, A new agents that were there. I mean, I'm sure it was brought up and people talked about it on the internet and
Who
stuff.
were they?
But they were D'Lo Brown.
Okay,
you know.
D'Lo, huh?
Yeah, D'Lo.
I've been trying to get him on the podcast. Apparently now you know him.
Yeah, I've always known D'Lo.
Way to go.
We'll have to get him.
Yeah.
So he was there. Dreamer has always been an agent and active wrestler, kind of doing
A little bit of everything.
Yep.
He'll do anything for a check at this point.
He'll do anything for wrestling.
Yeah.
Period.
Except our podcast, by the way. He blew us off hardcore.
Apparently.
And God bless him. He's a busy man. He's got his own baseball podcast. He wrestles House of Hardcore. I give him a lot of guff because he gives it back to you.
Yeah, and I love Tommy. So I mean, and the big one that I think surprised everybody, it kind of surprised me, was Paul London. And
Really?
Yeah, Paul London. He actually does stuff, producing and all that kind of stuff with Lucha Underground.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they film for like a month, once a year, maybe every other year, whatever it is now.
Apparently none now.
And fun fact about Paul London is he's we'll say fluent Spanish. He speaks Spanish very well. I don't know how fluent he is, but he speaks Spanish very well. So like a lot of the times in the matches with Sanjay, he would put himself in the LAX or the Lucha Brothers matches with Conan and stuff because they kind of knew how that character was. And then it seems like Paul's name was there. And I forgot. I'm like, Paul, why are you getting all the... Because LAX and Lucha Brothers are having... you've seen on on our show that they're kind of feuding with each other now. And I'm like, why is he getting all those matches? I'm like, oh, he speaks Spanish. So, and Phoenix speaks really good English. Penta speaks okay English, but he's more comfortable with Spanish. And obviously both LAX guys speak Spanish. So I think it's easier if everybody just speaks Spanish. And Paul is a great agent for that. And it was good because Paul was asking a lot of questions when we first got there. Whenever you're a new face, a new person, you're like, how is it here? Am I going to get heat for this, that, and I'm like, dude, just listen, follow me. I'm like, I'll show you the I showed him everything. I knew he was going to get it because he's been in WWE. Right. He's been everywhere. He produced Lucha Underground. He just had to know how our system worked. And I'm like, yep, this is Andrew. He's the director. And this is the thing. And this is, okay, you talk to the ref here, the director, that's Andrew. And then, that's Keith right there, the producer. He does the music, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And he was all set. And I'm like, yeah, if we do these explosion matches, if they go a little bit over time, don't worry about it because they're recap shows and, we need
editing.
It's okay if they go over 8 minutes because then it's just less content we have to do on the recap show, blah, blah. So, I let him know, and it's pretty easy and laid back environment. So I think Paul, after the first day, he was like, yeah, I think I got it. So I just showed him all the ropes, day one, all that kind of stuff, and then he was off the training wheels.
I don't know if you can tell me this, but any talk now with the Lucha Brothers signing with All Elite Wrestling? Now, there was some miscommunication online of whether they signed exclusive contracts or not, and it sounds like it's not really exclusive or they're honoring, and I'm still not 100% sure with the way this goes, but they're, either they're going to honor everything they have and then go exclusive, but any talk with you guys and management about, a worry or what their contract status is now with both companies?
Well, I'm not really privy to all the contract stuff, but I do know in Mexico we got them, signed them. I don't know, for a certain amount of dates.
Okay.
Hey, show up for these dates, and they're like, yeah, no problem. Okay, we'll do that. So they're okay with us. What a funny thing about Lucha Brothers is that in Mexico you have AAA and CMLL. Those are the two main companies, will say it. And you're contracted with either CMLL or AAA. That's it. They're the two guys that are not contracted with either of them, and they can wrestle for both of them. So they're kind of like freelancers, which is unheard of. So I think they really like that they can pick and choose their bookings. So, I honestly think that you're gonna see them in All Elite Wrestling. I mean, I think they've already maybe on Twitter made the match or whatever. Them gets the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing. But you're also going to see them on Impact. You're going to see them everywhere. I think they really enjoy freelancing and not being tied down because think about it. If they would have signed exclusive deals with us and then All Elite just came out and they're like, yeah, come work for us. They can't. So I really think they like the fact that yep, we'll sign with you for this many dates. And we'll sign with you for this many dates. They like that stuff. And I don't blame them at all.
2 questions. One from Carrie. She says she would really like to see Paul wrestle in Impact. Does he have any plans of wrestling, or is he just strictly backstage?
I mean, I've wrestled Paul before. We didn't talk about him wrestling or anything like that. I think he could still go in the ring, and I think he'd still be awesome, but he didn't mention anything about, like, yeah, I'm going to wrestle.
Brad Curry wants to know, what is Petey's thoughts on Impact on Twitch so far?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell our product is a little bit edgier. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. Like, you're gonna see stuff, and I don't know. I don't want to give any spoilers or anything like that, but like stuff that you wouldn't see before, like intergender wrestling and like stuff that's gonna push the limits. It's good when you're on like on Twitch. People can just watch it all the time, especially people that don't get the Pursuit channel. So.
Which
I like
everybody, by the way.
And we also did some content coming up where we tried to film where it was like it's exclusively for Twitch. Like when we go to commercial break, right? Usually it's like there's a commercial. Well, we have filmed exclusive Twitch content where we're like, all right, like Don and Josh are like, all right, we're going to commercial or whatever. We'll be right back. Whoever's in control right now. All right, now this is exclusive Twitch content right now. We're on commercial break, and they would still film for Twitch. So it's good that the viewers are like, oh, we get to see kind of behind the scenes thing, kind of like what we did right before, the podcast went on the air.
That's pretty neat. I would like to see them air that show on Friday and Saturday nights instead of just Friday nights. Because right now it's Thursday on Pursuit. Which
no, it's Friday at 10.
Friday at 10
both
for both?
Of them simultaneously. Yeah, Pursuit at 10, and I think it's on Twitch at 10. I think it's simultaneous.
Is it
right?
on demand anywhere else? Because I would like to see it re-air on Saturday nights. Because that's kind of when I do my wrestling watching is Saturday nights. The family go to bed. I come down on my big massive TV. By the way, did you like the TV?
That's a great TV.
65 inches, man.
You got a great man cave.
Wrestling, I tell you, WrestleMania party is going to be amazing.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
This is just a corner, by the way, guys.
Yeah, this is the corner of the whole man cave that I'm looking at here. You don't even have one TV. You got 2 TVs down here, and then this monitor that we're recording on right here. So, no, this is great. You made a good choice, Dennis.
All right, we got a couple more questions here. Double says, I have to find illegal Impact streams. I don't get Pursuit, and Impact blocks my VPN on Twitch.
Is that the AA guy?
Yeah, that's the one that asked us about the draft.
Yeah,
I love that.
I love that guy, but and that's why I asked him what's AA. I mean, he, why would Impact block his VPN?
I don't know.
He's got to be doing something illegal. I can't help you if you're doing anything illegal, man. Sorry.
Let's see here. Eric Kent, by the way, who did the great art, the comic book art of us.
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal. By the way, Eric, send me a DM because I need you to size it down a little bit so we can use it now for our podcast cover art.
Yep.
It's just a little too big, and I've been too embarrassed to send you. The guy does art for us. And then it's like, hey, the art you did for me? Can you squeeze it down a little, do more work? I don't want to ask him that. But anyways, Eric, now that you've seen that, you can do that. Another question here. Kent says, Disco said he's going to push ratings up for the next couple of weeks.
Like how he says next couple of weeks, right? Like he knows he's only gonna be there short term.
He took some heat, by the way, and apparently he was on one of the Impact press release on Facebook or wherever you guys air it, right? Mm-hmm. And basically he said he's not a fan of women's wrestling and just gets pooped on. Yeah. I'll be honest, I'm with him. I like some women's wrestling. I don't think all the women's wrestling has caught up with independent wrestling. I think independent wrestling is this high. WWE, and I wouldn't quite say Impact, but everybody else is just a step below. And it's okay to have your opinions. Yeah. You know what? I would love to interview Joey Ryan. I'd love to talk to him. I'm not a big fan of his, flippy things with his, member. I'm just not a fan of that. Does that make me not like the guy? Not at all. But I don't like blood in wrestling. I don't like hardcore wrestling. I cringe when I see tags in a wrestling ring. Why can't we have our own opinions? Why does he have to get bashed?
And I don't know, because I mean, it's things that I feel like, and maybe it's because it's disco, it's Glenn Gilberti. Maybe people are, maybe it was like an impact since it was like a social, or not a social media, like a conference call or whatever. But
Right.
he made a great analogy, and I've seen not only like the people that I know that don't watch wrestling, right? That are like my friends outside of wrestling that have like know nothing about wrestling. Glenn made an analogy, the same thing that other people I talk to that don't watch wrestling made. That, okay, I'll watch the NBA, but it doesn't mean that I have to like the WNBA too. He's like, no, I like the stars of the NBA. I like what they do. So it's not like I'm against Glenn, or I'm not supporting him at the same time. But it's like you're exactly what you said. You can have your own opinion. If you don't like women's wrestling or all of it, that's fine. Like, I mean, it's totally okay with that. And now it's going to be funny because, I mean, I don't want to give any spoilers out, but Glenn, man, he did really good at this last set of tapings. I mean, he got a lot of heat, so much so where, like, a couple of the high execs are like, man, that is how you get heat. That's how you work. That's what a lot of the young guys don't know how to do. And Glenn is just awesome. And, he's there because he lives in Vegas,
Right.
so we're going to use him. He'll probably be on our show for the next, we film 6 episodes.
But not enough to fly him anywhere, right?
No, we'll use Glenn when we're in Vegas.
That's right,
all right?
yeah.
And then, but he's great for what he does. I mean, if I really like Glenn, I think there's a lot of Glenn Gilberti haters out there, but I like him because he gets it. He doesn't care like, I got to go out there and get cheered and get on my spot. No, he gets how to work. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but a lot of like the younger guys can learn from Glenn. I can't believe I just said that.
Have I ever told you my Disco Inferno story about, what was it, a couple years ago I go to Vegas, right? And I find out he's a bouncer at a prominent strip club out there.
Yep.
And I'm not a huge strip club guy. I like to save my money. But I'm like, you know what? It's disco. I'm a WCW guy. Yep. I'm going to go to a strip club just to meet Disco Inferno, right? So you call up and they send a limo to pick you up. So me and 2 other guys who I was at this conference with, we get in this limo, drive down. It was Sapphires. I can say it. He posted
It's
pictures.
Sapphires, yep.
Okay. I get there, and apparently he wasn't working that night, which broke my heart. So I'm like, you know what? I'll get a dance. I'm at a strip club. I just got like a $5 beer. I'll get a dance. So the young lady takes me back to the VIP area, which I didn't know it was the VIP area. She's like, you want to dance? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Oh.
So, yeah, exactly. So I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting. And then another waitress comes in and goes, that'll be $400. And I'm like, wait a second,
For a
what?
dance?
Yeah. She goes, oh, well, you're in the VIP area, and it's $400. And, I'm not paying $400. She's like, all right, hang on. And now this guy with the neck the size of my whole body walks in and goes, I hear you ain't going to pay my women the money. And I'm like, no,
I didn't say that.
I'm not. I was like, I said that. I'm like, dude, it's cheaper for me to walk out with a broken arm or a broken finger.
Go to the hospital.
That's
pay
right.
The copay.
I've got great insurance. Copay's $100.
Yeah.
I'm still ahead $300. So we argue. I end up paying $100, and I told the guy, I'm like, well, she didn't finish her lap dance, so I'm gonna go in the common area, and I want the rest of my lap dance from her, and she didn't want to do it, and it was the worst lap dance ever because I'm sitting there and she's 3 feet away from me, and I'm like, I just wanted to meet Disco.
Yeah, I mean that's all you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Sapphires. I mean, Glenn would say hey, I'm here. I got to go to work tonight, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because it's weekends and we're on the weekend in Vegas and it's big money on the weekends.
Yeah.
So no, but Glenn's great. I love him.
I want to meet him. Hopefully one day. And he's a huge fantasy guy too.
Yeah, no, he is.
I almost landed him for the fantasy podcast I did, but you know what? Week 8, I started to buy a house. My wife gets hurt, and I felt horrible, but I pooped out. I did not have the going distance this year for fantasy, but next year I will.
Yeah, and Glenn. What's funny about Glenn is him and Conan.
Just be glad I didn't get a lap dance from Disco.
No. Disco and Conan have it's really funny. They have, even though they're buddies, Conan always ribs Disco, like every single time. Like they'll be back from a segment, there'll be like 5 guys in the segment. Disco's one of them, right? And he'd be like, "Oh, hey," and he'll look at Disco and he'd be like, "Petey, you were the agent for that? Oh man, you did such a great job." And he'll look at the other wrestlers like, "All you guys did a great job." But Petey, did I tell you how good of a job he did being an agent? And he'll just skip past Disco. He's like, "Everybody did great. All you guys right here did great in that segment." And the Disco would be like, he knows the rib. He's like, "Well, what about me?" And he's like, What? No, were you in there?" Like, it was every single segment that Glenn's in, it's always like that. And it's just, that's how far back they go. It just...
I mean, probably early WCW days.
Yeah, and... it's great to see that come out of Conan because Glenn brings it out of him. He's a great...
Conan's quiet, but
he's quiet. But like when stuff like that happens, he'll come out of his shell. And
really?
like when he's going, like he's nonstop and he can make you laugh like it's nobody's business.
Conan scares me. Like he's one of those guys where he walks into the room, you feel, and I've equated the same thing with like Eli Drake. When Eli walks into the room, and not like cut off shorts and tank top holding a jug of water, Eli Drake. I'm talking when he comes in dressed to the nines like he did that one time. And he like when Eli walked in the room, the air went out. Everybody automatically turned their heads. It's like, oh, he's the coolest guy in the room. When Conan walks into the room, it's like, oh, it's a legend.
Yeah.
And nobody talks to him as well. They probably shouldn't because he probably doesn't want to be bothered. I don't know. I don't even know what that beeping sound is. But
is it me touching this?
No, it's not you touching that.
Okay.
By the way, only you guys on Twitch can't, not Twitch, but
just audio.
Yeah, just the podcast can hear that. But I moved everything. We just bought this new house, and this is the first time I've recorded here. So, thank you.
Yeah.
And you came here for this.
Eli, though, the first thing he said to me was,
"Where's Dennis?"
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Wow.
No, absolutely not.
No.
No, I see him down in Vegas, and he's like, "Hey, Petey, what's up?" He's like, "Oh, did I get back to you?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." I said, I set up something, but it didn't work out. So I said, "We'll get to you, though." He's like, "Oh, all right, good. I just want to make sure I got back to you." I'm like, like that was the first thing on his mind. He's like, "Oh man, did I get back to Petey?" Yeah, I got back to him. So, we'll get Eli on there. I almost want to save him for like
Christmas because at this rate, that's where we're going with him.
No, this is what I want to do. I want to like kind of convince Impact that we should be doing their Impact podcast.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I how long have I been like, why are we not doing this? And I feel like you're Petey Williams and I'm just a guy.
No, you're Dennis Farrell from ESPN.
I'm barely Dennis Farrell at this point. I've had everything stripped away from me. So, but Petey, why isn't? And I've said this a million times. Me and you were independent. Impact, who, cultivates its own content, they'd be ridiculous. Even if I wasn't joined in, not to have you do something, because you're becoming a podcast king. Well, like, at least the podcast king of Canada.
The podcast king of maybe Impact, right behind Don Callis. I don't know how you'd want to put me, but I kind of want to get...
Don who?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's right.
I kind of want to get like the Impact podcast. That's what I want to do. I think we should do it. I don't know. I think we should bring our recording equipment over to.
We do it every time, anyways, to get interviewed. You know what?
But we should do video.
Oh my gosh! Listen, people on Twitter, tag Impact. Should we have them tag Scott? I think we should, for fun.
Yeah, why not?
Tag Scott and tell him to give Petey and Dennis a chance.
Yeah, give us a chance.
Give us a chance. That's all we want.
Yeah.
We're like the Rocky of podcasting. Give us a chance. Go tweet now Petey's followers and the 2 of my followers.
Yeah, all we want to do is like take the same wrestling perspective that we do and bring it to Impact. And, it's going to be, we already do an Impact content-heavy show. But why not do that? And then, maybe get on like their Twitch feed or whatever the case may be. Maybe we should just steal their Twitch feed. Like, just steal it.
Take over.
Yeah, take it over and be like, Eli, come here. Because they'll do that for Eli.
Do you know what I'd like to do, though? If they handed me the phone with their Twitch, right? I'd love to do a little backstage stuff. Not too much. But I would love to walk out and walk into the ring with it so people could get a feel of what it's like walking into an arena from the stage into a ring.
Yeah, you remember like back in WCW, like back when, but they didn't do it with a phone. They did it with an actual camcorder.
Right.
Like Rey Mysterio came out. I remember back in the WCW days, they did all that kind of stuff. But that was pre-phone era. Yeah.
See, I would like to have that kind of fun. Like do a Twitch in the middle of the ring, because that would be fun.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? I'm going to say this. I think people like you better than Josh Matthews. I mean, you're better looking. You're funnier. He dresses better than you.
Yeah, no, Josh is definitely a better dresser. He can speak. You know, I gotta give it to Josh though, man. Like we'll do 6 episodes in a row, and he tries to.
He's great though, by the way.
Yeah, he keeps it all in line. And I'm like, how does he even know? Like, he must just have like the memory or maybe the note taking skills of just a genius. If you ever watch all of our on cameras, and on cameras will be like me and you sitting here, and like Josh will be like, all right, we just saw, Rosemary, do this, and then up next is Johnny Impact and blah, 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 blah. What do you think about that, Don? And Don will hit a one-liner. It's like, man, I tell you, that's going to be gruesome. And it's back to Josh, you know what I mean? So Josh has to keep, like, the flow of the show going. And it's just, it's crazy how he can do that. 6 episodes in a row.
2 questions.
Yep.
We got one. How much cardio would you have to do to compete in ring daily?
I mean,
more cardio than I'm doing now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Because I'm not doing any.
I saw you try to get to the second rope, and you're like, Petey, help me! I can't do that. And I'm like, dude, you can't even step. Like, can you even use a ladder? Like,
I can use a ladder.
Okay. Well,
I'm not jumping from it, but I can use it.
I'll tell you one thing. There's no cardio that can condition you like actually being in the ring. I mean, the closest thing is like now that they have this CrossFit. I know like the Young Bucks tell me that they do a lot of CrossFit stuff. It'll be short like durations because that's what their matches are. It's like 15 minutes of just like balls to the wall. Like I'm just gonna do this. That's kind of what CrossFit is because that's similar to their matches. So that's the closest thing you can get to like what it's like to be in a pro wrestling ring.
I gotta tell you, I'm ready to block AA because AA wants to know, would you hit a Canadian Destroyer on me live on Twitch? I said, oh, absolutely not. I'd hurt myself just bending over to get between your legs.
I remember I'd said that to Steiner. I'm like, can you take a Canadian Destroyer? I'm like, I don't think you can. He's like, well, can you give it to me? And I'm like, oh, jeez.
That's one thing we don't hear a lot of the show is your Scott Steiner impersonations.
I mean,
hey, you know what would be great? It's time for a Blue Chew ad, guys.
Blue Chew.
But
what are you talking about, Blue Chew?
Can Scotty do the Blue Chew ad with me this week?
Yeah. So, guys, welcome our guest, Scott Steiner, to do the Blue Chew ad. The color of it, you're the.
Yeah, I know how this works.
Okay, right.
I was just gonna say it won't work great for Facebook or Twitch, but
pretend I'm Steiner.
Yeah, pretend he's Steiner, guys. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Scotty Steiner, what are you doing here?
Dennis, shut up, man.
Yeah, that's Scott Steiner, guys. Scott, we got to do Blue Chew ad. Do you know what Blue Chew is?
Yeah, I know what Blue Chew is. I take it every night, man. Look at the size of my arms here.
Oh, nice. Now, when you use Blue Chew, did you use the promo code Perspective or did you use a different promo code?
I used the promo code. I'm a college scholarship. I used the promo code.
That is Scott.
Perspective. Yeah, I'm doing this on purpose.
Yeah, I know you are. Yeah, we all get it.
Yeah.
Thanks. Back in the character.
All right.
That's good because Blue Chew, if you use the promo code Perspective, it helps keep the radio show on the air. Scott, we got to get you on the radio, but I'm afraid you dropped too many F-bombs. Yeah.
I'm just not going to talk.
That's right. So it helps keep the radio show on the air. It helps keep the podcast going. If you go to bluechew.com, use the promo code Perspective. Look, we get a portion of it. We put that back in the show to help grow the show. We don't really take the money and buy new houses and podcast equipment or pay Scott Steiner to be on the radio with us.
No. I mean, you want to grow? Look at this arm, right? You see this vein in my arm? It's bigger than your arm. You see my arm?
Yeah.
It's bigger than your leg. You see my leg? It's bigger than you. It's because of Blue Chew.
That's right. I can't even do it. Can you do it? Use the promo code Perspective.
Use the promo code Perspective.
Yeah.
I'm doing you an egg. I'm not me and you pairs.
That's right. So, listen, it's made from the same active ingredients as Cialis,
Cialis,
Viagra.
Viagra.
Hey, this is the best dad ever.
Holla if you hear me.
So use the promo code perspective, same ingredients as Cialis and Viagra. It's made in the United States, so it's cheaper. Look, we don't care what you do with it. Apparently, Scotty injects it into him now.
Yeah, it's like Synthol. I didn't know why it said that.
It works out good, though. But look, we don't care what you do with your Blue Chew. Just order it. Use the promo code perspective. Help keep them put money into the show so we can put money into your entertainment. Hey, that's a good tagline.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Scott left.
Scott left. Thanks for joining us, Scott.
Scott.
Hey, Cracker Barrel later?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, don't look at my wife on the way out. Hopefully she'll go with you.
Nah, he's just doing math equations over there right now.
Oh, man. So if no other reason than that Scott Steiner coming, that's the only reason.
He just comes in for the Blue Chew ads.
That's it.
Just this is what happens when you're on Blue Chew.
Yeah.
Not really. But.
And whatforapparel.com/WPP. You can get a great wrestling perspective shirt. We've got a couple of them. We'll have some more popping up here soon. We actually have our short. I'm now Scott Steinered.
Man, you better stop talking like me. He just came back.
Oh, yeah, he heard that.
Yeah.
But shirts, we have them valued a little bit lower because we want people to wear shirts. So we're putting people over profits. That's what I like to say when it comes to the shirts.
Yeah, screw the profits.
Yeah, we don't see any of it, really.
Yeah.
So go buy a shirt. What for apparel? Let's go back to Twitch.
Twitter.
We're
not on Twitch.
But
we're hoping to be on Twitch.
Yes, as we said, if you're listening live or later, tag Scott Demore, tag Impact, tell them you want to see Petey Williams and Dennis Farrell on their Twitch channel doing something. Whether it's just audio or we'd have to figure out how to do video because we're hardly ever in the same place.
Yeah, I mean, we can do video obviously at the Windsor tapings.
That's right.
We got 2 days there, and we got the talent there, and we'll pull them aside and. We'll get live content and think about the Q&As. Like, I mean, how often do you see like a podcast going live? Say if we have somebody like Eli Drake, just because we brought him up earlier, and we're gonna have him on the podcast eventually. And then people are asking questions like, "Oh, Eli, why are you so cool?" Is that even a real question? That's what he would probably say. But all those questions coming in, it'd be great for us and everybody.
So we are trying to be the most interactive podcast out there. You don't really see a lot of podcasts that try to bring. You know what? You don't see a lot of podcasts with professional wrestlers that have some sort of name value. As open and free with their fan base as we try to be.
Yeah, I remember that one time we had we did the voicemails on the phone.
Yes.
So people actually got on our show. I don't think that's ever been done before. So yeah, I mean, anything we could do to help get the fans to participate, interact with us, just to be part of the show, like it's their show. That's what we love.
Father of Tears wants to say hi, Petey.
Oh, hi, Father Tears.
Father Tears.
Tears.
Father of Tears.
Father of Tears.
Yes, he birthed Tears, which makes him the father.
Oh, he's the Father of Tears because he.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Or the Father of Tears for Fears, the lead singer.
Tears for Or
that's an 80s.
Maybe
band.
you're reading it wrong. It's tears.
Oh, maybe like the ligaments.
Yeah, like he tears, like Father of Tears, like he tears people up. Maybe.
Let's see here. Kent said you two should absolutely get Twitch time.
Yes,
Monkey Biz says absolutely an Impact podcast for us. Go tweet Impact. Go tweet Scott Demore and tell him. Double A says we can do Google Hangouts like Vince Russo does. Let's see here. I don't even know what that word is. Tears. What's that say? Read that there.
Gulf Shores Tom.
No.
Oh, it's already gone.
Push up on the picture.
Push up.
Yeah. See.
I'm the.
Okay, so I'm not the only idiot on the podcast.
Progenitor?
Close enough.
Whatever.
But
he must be a lot smarter than us, apparently.
It's
Either that or it's
hard.
not a real word. He's making up words now.
It's not hard because we are two guys talking about fake wrestling.
Yeah. He probably thinks it's real still.
I do. So double A says hi, Petey. By the way,
Oh, hi, Double A.
He's-
How's your giraffe doing?
dude, every time he asks, I giggle.
He's the giraffe guy.
Yeah, he is absolutely. What else is there to talk about before we put a pin in this?
Well, I mean, when it comes to Impact, I
Yeah,
mean,
when
you're gonna see other people coming to Impact.
All right, are they going to come in as surprises or
I
we?
don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
they haven't said, "Hey, Petey, we're going to do it this way. Don't tell anybody." Shh.
Nope. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I'm excited to see. Like, I'm assuming that the Walking Weapon, he's going to be in our Windsor shows and stuff.
Has to be.
Kind of.
He was there last time, right?
If not, I know March. What's April? April. I think we're back in Canada.
We gotta get some old school Impact posters to put on my walls.
Yeah, like right here.
Yeah. We can take down my autograph Herman Moore jersey where
like this stuff.
where he tells me he enjoyed doing a show with me.
Well, I mean, he's an all-pro. I like how he signs it like that. Like,
Yeah,
should I sign my autographs like two-time X Division champion?
Oh, you should. You should start doing that.
Look, he's got a lot of stuff on here besides just his signature.
Yeah, I told him write a lot of stuff to make me feel important. All right, here's some more questions from fans. Let's see here. What do you think Impact can do to gain more viewers?
I think we're currently doing it. I mean, now we're live on Twitch, so like our big slogan is like if you have internet, you have Impact. So you don't have to worry about like which network we go to or anything like that.
Unless you're double A. Apparently his VPN won't let him.
I don't even understand how that's even possible.
I don't know either.
I think he should get another VPN or move or
Can
something.
Can you do that?
No, I probably.
Can you watch it on YouTube?
I
I don't know
we
why
have a
you,
YouTube channel.
I don't know why you won't be able to watch on YouTube if you can watch it on Twitch.
No, because it's two different things.
Right, I understand that
okay.
YouTube and Twitch are two different things. Thanks for explaining.
Well, I mean, we got a YouTube channel.
So
with
what
our clip.
is the internet? Let's break this down.
Okay, so I mean, I think just get back to the question. We're currently doing what we're, to gain more viewers and just, we understand like, and everybody's already said to us like, hey, Pursuit Channel doesn't hit as many households as like Pop or any other network or whatever the case may be. So okay, what can we do to, make people aware of Impact? Well, we're gonna be on Twitch every single week. Like, can you imagine that? Like, if other wrestling networks are like, hey, all you have to do is have the Twitch app and follow us, and then there you get to see our product every single week
And chat with other people while watching it live.
Exactly. So I mean, that's one thing that we're doing to definitely grow our products, and like fresh new faces and stuff, just giving out the best wrestling that we could possibly do. That's what we're doing. We're not.
And I like the specials you guys do. I really do. Someone just asked, what do you guys think of the United We Stand pay-per-view? That card is crazy. It really is. Yeah. What you guys are doing with OVE, with the opening day card. Was it March 1st, I believe, that they're opening their new venue down in Ohio with Impact versus OVE again, or Ohio versus everyone.
Ohio versus Impact.
I think it's that kind of stuff. Branching out, doing more, Twitch specials. That's going to be your backbone to growth.
Yeah, and then obviously we still have our pay-per-views like we do. I think it's like 4 a year. So it's obviously stuff that we're doing because obviously we're a business. We're still trying to make money, but we're obviously trying to grow our fan support as well and get people connected.
Let's see here. Tons of more questions, by the way, coming through. Any thoughts on Brian Pillman Jr. on Impact? Of course you'd want him, but I think he's not exclusive with MLW, but
yeah, if he's already all tied up with MLW, obviously, if he has a contract with them, we can't use him.
Right.
I'm assuming their deals are saying like, hey, we can't use him. But yeah, Brian Pillman Jr., why not get a whole new Team Canada going on?
Why don't you guys have a Twitch championship belt? I think that's
instead of TV championship.
Yes,
Twitch championship?
that's
great.
And I've kind of told you that a couple times that I really think you guys need to have your own Twitch champion.
I think Twitch is trademarked. That's why we probably can't call it Twitch Championship. That's probably the only reason why.
Okay.
We call it the Internet Championship.
I mean, you could probably get away with it, but yeah, you need a TV championship. I feel like that's what Impact needs. Let's see. Anytime Mitchell shows up as let's see here. Oh, I'm always happy anytime Mitchell shows up as well. So the Dark War stuff is even better with him.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some good stuff coming up with Mitchell. I don't want to give away anything, but I'll say we're probably going to head to the what's it called, the Dark Realm or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. But there's going to be some good produced segments coming up. I'll just say that.
Is Pursuit preventing Impact from achieving on Twitch? Archiving on Twitch, I guess.
That's a good question. See, I'm not like huge on Twitch, so I don't even know. Like, are you able to go to the channel? I mean, this is maybe a question I'm asking, one of our viewers right now. Are you able to go to the channel and go back and be like, yeah, I want to watch?
I don't think they are.
Okay.
And we've had multiple questions that.
Can you do that on Twitch at all, or is Twitch always a live stream?
I think you can go back and watch up to a certain amount of time.
Okay.
I've never actually been on Twitch, so I can't tell you. But I would say if you guys could archive on Twitch for at least 7 days, it would help a lot. I don't know who you talk to about that.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not privy to all that, like how that legal. I'm not sure it's a legal thing. I don't know how that works.
Yes, a Twitch title would be incredible. We should figure out a name
for Twitch Championship of the World. That'd be great.
We should come up with a alternative name that kind of means it, know?
By Twitch, yeah, we should.
Streaming Champion?
The Streaming Champion.
Oh my gosh.
That sounds good. Streaming Champion.
Yeah.
The Bandwidth Champion.
Oh.
Now we're getting ridiculous.
Gigabytes. But he only gets to defend it on special Twitch shows.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good one.
Let's see. Explosion, 1 hour exclusive Twitch show instead of being a recap show. What do you think of that idea?
Yeah, and once again, that just comes down to a filming thing with content. And that goes back to what I mentioned before about Explosion when I was talking to Paul London. Like, hey, we have Explosion that's an hour long. We have like an 8-minute match, which, if there's a 4-minute break, that comes out to 12 minutes on TV. If it goes 2 minutes longer, that's fine. Now you're up to like 14 minutes. Great. Now you don't have to recap as much because the 1 hour show ends up being like 45 minutes. So it's less content you have to do. But that's still a lot of stuff that we got to film in the short period of time that we're trying to film it.
Here's what I don't get. Why doesn't Impact have a pre-show on Twitch?
They should.
Even if you did, you could have a pre-show for Twitch in pay-per-views.
Yeah, for pay-per-views, it would work.
Yeah, even for Twitch shows, if you had two people kind of running down for 30 minutes before the show, and you end it like 7 minutes, you turn the stream off, let it, whatever, we'll be back and blah, 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 and then boom, you go into it. I think that would help a lot too. I also think there was let's see here. There was a couple, someone had echoed one of my a wrestling perspective championship.
Oh, I love that.
Let's see. Several people said they liked the streaming championship idea.
Streaming champion.
It'd be incredible to see a trios champion. Let's see here. How did you come up with the Canadian Destroyer? We've talked about that a couple, and we may bring it up again. I'm sorry to kind of gloss over that.
That's okay.
Okay. I don't. Fine. We are still the people of the people. Do they have a pre-show? I don't. I think Josh does I think
it's just a recap like the old school WWE, like back in the day when it started. They had a half-hour pre-show kind of recap and like what you're gonna see. I think that's it. It's kind of like it's nothing live. I think it's all pre-produced because it's easy to do it that way, right? But yeah, I mean, the way it works, like when we're in Vegas, doors opened at 5:00 for the crowd. We started at 6 or just right before that, started filming one Explosion show, and then we'd film like from 6 to 8:39, knock it all out of the way. So just to have a pre-show for that, I mean, it's already so chaotic. Like think about Josh Matthews, because he'd be the one running the pre-show probably. Like he already has to remember all this other stuff and all this stuff that we're filming, like multiple shows and stuff. It's ridiculously hard.
There's another guy I know that could probably do it.
Dennis Farrell.
Me. Nobody wants to see that. They want to see Petey. Look,
Well, actually, okay, I'm sorry. We just did that last Friday. Before I think our Friday episode was called Uncaged. We had Melissa Santos, I believe her name is. She did a 1 hour pre-show to that we were filming at the same time on Twitch. That was live on Twitch. There was a pre-show that we were filming backstage at the same time as we were trying to film our tape show in Vegas. Like, it was like a lot of stuff going on at once, but we did do that. So.
Someone's making fun of us both for wearing beanies.
Well, I could take mine off.
Could you?
Yeah. It's.
I think you should because I don't want to look just like. Thank you. I don't think they could tell us apart with them both on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Let's see. What's the most painful bump you've ever taken?
One that pops in my head right now. I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and what was it called? Lucha Libre USA, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he did that sunset. It's a ladder match, and we did a sunset flip over the ladder, and he power bombed me. And I've taken it before, but for whatever reason, that one really like knocked the wind out of me. Another one was when Homicide gave me. If you follow me on Instagram, you could see him like holding me up there on one of the pictures. He gave me that Gringo Killer, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And he just totally destroyed my vertebrae. It was like I couldn't even actually sit up. Like I had to be helped to the back. That was probably the worst bump I ever took.
Okay. I wasn't making fun of you both. It's okay.
Should I put my beanie back?
No. They can't tell us apart, Petey.
Okay. Well,
I mean, with both of us, they'll be like, "Wow, Petey's fat and hairy now." And I hate for that people to look at you thinking that. Let's see here. As a wrestling fan, what is your favorite match to watch?
Oh man, that's a good question. I guess anything that has. I'm trying to think of that. I don't know. Like, what I'll do now is I'll sit backstage and I'll watch like Lucha Brothers versus LAX, and I know it's going to be a great match, but I have to add something to it. I'm like, all right, let's get a super kick counter going on right now, and then put an over-under on like what the super kicks are going to be. So like 10, it's usually like 10. There's going to be 10 super kicks, so we go like over or under. And I think their last match had 9 super kicks, so it adds to it. And I almost like place bets on stuff now. But just anything athletic.
So you're like Pete Rose of wrestling now.
I guess
Can you
so.
bet on your own matches when you get thrown out of wrestling?
Yeah. But I mean, I like watching stuff like that. I always make it a point that anything that's different, I try to watch. I always like watching, like Lucha Brothers, LAX, guys like that are just, I know they're going to go out there and give her. One-on-one matches are always like super special, but tag team matches, it's just always like so much action going on. It's like you can always have a fresh body in there. So I like watching tag team stuff.
Couple good questions coming up here. Petey, are you healthy enough to wrestle in an Ultimate X match right now?
Yeah.
You are. You just choose. Because I was brokenhearted as your friend, and then you probably don't care. And I care sometimes more than you do about things. But when they did the Ultimate X match and you were not in it, I really was bummed out for you.
Oh, in Nashville?
Yeah.
I was totally fine with it.
I wasn't.
And I told Scott, I'm like, hey, if you need me to wrestle, just let me know. Like, if somebody gets hurt, whatever. Like, I'll put on some tights and I'll wrestle. That's no problem. I don't know. I don't know why. Like, I mean, I'm like, do they think I suck? Or I'm like, or maybe they just don't want, they're trying to go in a new direction. Maybe they don't want to bring up like, oh, he's an impact of the old. I don't know. So I'm open to it. I enjoy not wrestling because I don't have to get dressed like 3 to 4 times in one day, or like take photo shoots or anything. I just like showing up and
that goofy one of you going yeah, or me rubbing you down with Tanner. Yeah. I'm gonna repost that picture because that was one of my favorite pictures. Here's some more questions in honor of Ric Flair's 70th birthday.
70, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have any Ric Flair memories being around him?
No. No, I really don't. I think I was on like a handful of shows with him.
And you just couldn't get around him, probably.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I said hi and stuff like that, but nothing that was like memorable.
No. Did you see him naked?
No.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
That seems to be the question everybody asks.
Did you see him naked?
I did.
Maybe. Now that I think about it, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Like I was on a House of Hardcore with him, Ring of Honor shows with him. Like I was on shows with him.
Okay. Petey, any updates on Impact going more international and doing tapings in the UK and India and etc.?
Oh, I know. Well, we did a TV taping in India in 2017, early 2017, so 2 years ago. So we wouldn't be opposed to that, obviously. Obviously, like, Gamma and Desi Hit Squad are main parts of our show. And then in the UK, I know when I was with Impact, when I was contracted with them, when we went over to the UK, I mean, we always had big arenas sold out and big crowds, and just people were all about Impact Wrestling. So I don't know if there's plans for that. I know internationally the only thing we're doing is North America when it comes to Canada, US, and Mexico. So eventually, once the product grows, obviously we'll probably branch out into, other continents.
All right. Real question here, and I begged you hard, Petey, about this. Petey, are you bummed out you missed the Matt Taven interview?
Yeah, man, I am.
That was a great. I had a blast.
know.
Did you get to listen yet?
No, I did not. You know why? Because I was going to do it on the plane, but then I ended up sitting next to Demore, and we were chit-chatting about other stuff.
Yeah. Did he ask about me?
Yes.
Wow, that's nice.
He's like, what's his credentials? I said, absolutely nothing. He's like, oh, I love Dennis.
He's it.
He's in.
Yeah, that's right. Do you prefer wrestling or producing?
I prefer. Man, I don't know. That's a good question. I like producing.
That's why
what I'm
they
doing.
asked
I
it.
know, yeah. I like producing now and doing that. Do I miss wrestling, getting in the ring? Yeah, but sometimes I'm like, man, I'm not as quick as I used to be or as strong as I used to be. I like both, but I really enjoy the producing side of it.
Do you prefer wrestling as a heel or a face?
Heel.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It seems like the cool thing to do now.
Yeah, it's just I started on Impact as a heel. The only time I've ever been like
Now?
a face is now.
Let's see here. Do you have any memories of meeting wrestlers when you were younger?
Yeah, we talked about this in the podcast. My first wrestler I ever met was Tito Santana.
Yeah?
Man, I was like, oh, Tito Santana. And I'm like, and I was like thinking in my head, I'm going to ask him all these questions, and I was like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere around that. My dad took me up, and I'm sitting there, and my dad's like, it's your turn. And I go up with the 8x10, and I'm like, hi. And he goes, and he sticks out his hand to shake it, and I'm like, and his hands were like so big, I'm like so small, and shake his hand, and then I walk off, and I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, why? I didn't say anything to him. I'm such an idiot. And then I met him, I think, again, like last year, I finally told him that story. And he's awesome. Tito is awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I told him that story last year, and he was like, and obviously he doesn't remember, but I'm like, yeah, man, like 30 years ago I met you.
He's like, oh, that was great.
Yeah, and I mean, and he was super nice to me and stuff when we chit-chatted for a while.
Dennis has a beard now. It looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
You know what? This is my, I don't give a darn beard right now.
I thought it was hey, the Patriots just won the Super Bowl. Here's my beard now.
This is a reverse playoff beard?
Yeah, reverse playoff beard.
I do it after they win. Let's see here. Any chance we get to see Impact in Spain? A big market there.
Like, as in going over there, or like, so I don't, as international markets, I don't know what people can view outside of North America. I don't know if, like, is Twitch available over in Spain? I'm assuming it was, because if you have the internet, you have Impact, right? Going over there, I mean, I don't think there's any immediate plans for that.
Do you have any Teddy Hart stories?
Oh, who asked that?
Let's see here. I love Teddy Hart. No. It is a real... Oh, I'm not going to say that one out there.
Okay, all right.
I'll tell you his name later.
Yeah, I mean, I got some Teddy Hart stories, but, I
don't like him. Listen, I don't know. We've never talked about Teddy Hart, but I don't like Teddy Hart.
Is it because he, like, does the Canadian Destroyer?
Yeah, that's your thing. Yeah. You can hate him or not for that. There's just something about him that just strikes me as, like, a guy that can't get past the 90s with his looks, because he has the gold chain. You know what? He looks like, what was the group in WWE with, like, Too Cool and
Wasn't it too cool?
Is it too cool?
Yeah.
He looks like the third member that got kicked out after like the 5th TV tapings right now. Look, Teddy Hart isn't going to come beat me up. I'm not worried about it.
I mean, I'll tell you this. If it wasn't for Teddy Hart, my first day on Impact, if he didn't injure his knee on his last move of the match previous to me, I wouldn't have had my debut when I had it against Juventud Guerrera and Jerry Lynn. So he injured it. He was supposed to be in that match, and then he injured himself. I was in the next match, and then I had 50 minutes to prepare to go live on pay-per-view. And, you know, I don't know why he got hurt on the last move of the match or whatever the case may be. I heard later on that he was faking. You know, I don't know.
All right. We got a ton. When Impact started signing guys like Sting, Hardy, Angle, what was your first reaction?
I was like, okay, cool. If they do it right. Right?
Right.
And I felt like they didn't do it right. Like, I don't think somebody that, like, should, like, I feel like if you want to build your own talent, like, let's just say AJ Styles, for example, okay? Because it's AJ Styles. Sting should come in, and AJ Styles should beat Sting. That's what should happen. We're building our own products, but that's not how it happened. So I just feel like they did it wrong, but I thought it was cool that those guys were all coming in there. I remember being excited about it.
Yeah. Were there a lot of hesitation from other guys already on the roster? Like, these guys are going to take our jobs and blah, 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 blah.
No, because nobody was really getting fired. You know? And then, like, I remember when I got fired, that's when everybody started getting concerned, and they were like...
So you were the first.
Yeah, Sanjay was like... Petey just got fired or let go. Do I have anything to worry about? Oh, no, absolutely not. Bam, gets fired. You know, and then they just start like peeling off the roster and stuff. And it's like, all right, all the guys that were there that helped build the product, get the name on the product, they let go. And those guys that, you know, ex-WWE guys or whatever, now they're the product. And it's like, that doesn't make sense to me. And we've talked about this before. Like, Ring of Honor would never do that. Like, They always like have if they bring in ex-WWE guys or whatever, they have them have a competitive match with them, and then the Ring of Honor guy will win in the end, or maybe the one guy will come in and win, but there'll be a competitive match. It won't be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna push these ex-WWE guys because that's what people know them as. No, I think that's done wrong.
You know, that's the one thing I say about Ring of Honor, and that's why they've stayed the test of time when other companies rated their talent. It's because they did an amazing job of building up their own talent. Impact, not so much successful at doing that.
No.
And maybe now we are seeing it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm smart enough of a wrestling fan right now to sit there and watch the product and go, all right, they're building their own talent the right way, or if I'm just like, hey, you know, Petey Williams just went over on a young guy. Is that the right thing to do?
No, and I've put a lot of guys over that are young guys, and that's the way you do it, though. Like, I guarantee you right now, if, like, somebody like a Daniel Bryan, if he never ended up coming back off his neck injury and then he went to Ring of Honor, he wouldn't just beat everybody in Ring of Honor. I guarantee you, like, him and Jay Lethal would be going, like, Jay Lethal would probably beat him in the first match back to show you, like, hey, Jay Lethal is just as good as the guy that, like, headlined WrestleMania 30. Like, that's the way, and that's the picture you're trying to paint to the fans.
Our talent is better than everybody else's.
Or just as good.
Right.
Right?
We're going to wrap this up here in a second. As we said many times, guys, if you've enjoyed this, we're going to try to do a little bit more of this. Yeah. But we're really, like, trying to, I guess this is an audition, maybe? Would you say?
Our pilot episode?
A pilot episode, baby. So if you've enjoyed this and kind of want to see more of this.
And just imagine there's like maybe an interview with like some sort of other Impact talent.
Yeah, or like cardboard cutouts and Impact posters everywhere. Tweet Impact, tweet Scott D'Amore. I don't think you tweet Don Callis because he doesn't give a darn.
No.
No. But tweet Impact, tweet Scott D'Amore, and let them know to give Dennis and Petey a shot.
Don, you know what? Let's do Don as well because you know Don has another podcast and stuff.
Let's just bug him. Why not?
But tweet all the Impact roster. Tag all 50 of them. You can't even get the words in because everybody's tagged.
Give, and then all it says.
Yeah.
But let them know that you want to see Petey, you want to see Dennis on their Twitch airwaves, entertaining you guys, bring it, because we would try to do the same thing we do here for their Twitch content.
Yeah, I mean, be the same, kind of not, but really. And yeah, but we'd be doing it on Twitch. And, I still don't know. I mean, I guess we should have came up with a game plan before we're just like, hey, let's just do this.
Yeah, this is fun.
But why
it's
not?
organic.
I mean, we're
and tell your friends to do it, by the way. I know you guys have friends. I've seen some of your friends. I know you have friends. So you send them DMs, you tag them in tweets. This is how... Do I just say go viral and it goes viral? Is that how the internet works? Hey, make us go viral.
Yeah, I wish
that's how it works, right?
Yep. Viral. Just say the words viral and everything, like 8 billion views.
Or crabs.
Yeah.
That's my luck.
Yeah.
But help us go viral. We can't do it without you guys. This is us asking you for help, right?
Please help.
Yeah. Well, you're going to need it because I got the lock on the door. You'll never leave here. You're
don't even say what you called this.
No.
I know what you were thinking. Okay.
Let's see here. A couple more questions before we call it a night. Dennis would be a great asset for Impact. Wink, wink. That's not for my mom. She's dead. So,
okay.
Unless she has Twitter in heaven.
I think you're just reading that to me. It's not a real thing. Yeah.
Already on it. Everybody. If WWE can give Hicks Sam Roberts a job, Impact can give Dennis one.
Okay, that guy said it. All right.
Oh, God, I love people.
Yep.
Give Petey and Dennis a chance. I love that hashtag. Petey has more pull than us? No.
Petey has more what?
Does someone asked, does Petey have more pull than us, the fans? No.
No, the fans have all the pull.
Yes. Let's see here. Dennis has way better hair than Sam Roberts anyways.
You have a beanie on. You can't even see your hair.
Let's see here.
But, I mean, it's not tough to beat Sam
Josh
Roberts.
Matthews is in charge of the Impact Digital content, isn't he? No.
I think they tell Josh what to do. But...
He does a lot of it, but he's not in charge. It's kind of Anthem who is in charge of it, but Scott has say.
Yeah.
Is that a little too inside baseball?
I don't know.
That's kind of what was the way I viewed it. I could be wrong.
Well, I think everything has to go through like
Scott.
Yeah, and Don.
Yeah.
And ultimately Ed.
Mm-hmm. Norholm.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know that.
Yeah. Not Eddie Edwards.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I think Josh does a lot of it. A lot, because he's the kind of like the face of Impact. Like when you listen to Impact, he calls the play-by-play, so people are used to hearing Josh.
Yeah. So, look, thank you guys for hanging out, for asking questions. We're going to try to do more, whether it's live like this or maybe a Google Hangout version, maybe once a month until Impact gives us a chance.
Yeah.
This is...
Signs us to a 20-year deal.
Oh, 20?
What do you think Twitch will be in 20 years?
Facebook?
Yeah.
It'd be just... No, it would be like MySpace.
Yeah, I remember that.
It would, yeah.
We have some people listening right now. What's MySpace?
Friendster? I don't know. Friendster, I think
I've
was
heard
the
of that, yeah.
It would be like AOL Instant Messenger right now.
Dial up, right?
Dial up.
Oh boy.
That's exactly what it would be. Thank you guys for hanging out. We definitely appreciate it. No, guys, thank you. If you listen to podcasts, go over to WrestlingPerspectivePodcast.com. Subscribe there. Rate, subscribe, leave a comment. We do 2 shows, basically. Petey and I do the podcast. Pete's busy, so me and Russ McCall, we do the radio show. It's in 100 different radio markets and powered by SB Nation, but we take that show and put it up on this feed. Both shows will go up tonight, by the way. Pete, what do you want to promote real quick?
Not much. I mean, you can follow me on Twitter, which if you're watching this right now, you're already following me on Twitter, I would think, at IPD Williams. I kind of dabble in a little bit of Instagram. I just posted one photo the other day in Las Vegas. I should have did more. And then we have a big, watch Impact on Twitch or on Pursuit on Friday nights. And we have TV tapings coming up. Dennis, I know you'll be there. That's March... I think it's 23rd and 24th in Windsor.
I will be there.
So.
I'm probably going to lug my podcast equipment up. And, did we do a podcast since the last time where I told you about me trying to get Sammy Callahan to do a podcast? And
maybe.
I dragged all my equipment down. No, I didn't. I went down to Dayton to watch one of the Rockstar Pro shows, which was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. You and I We really have to make a drive down there to go see.
Yeah, I know.
They
They asked me about that, and I just haven't made it a point yet.
we could make an overnight trip out of it. Russ and I did it. It was great. And then the next day or the day after, I went with two friends. I call them friends now, Sassy and Kingdom Carey, who kind of got me hooked up with Matt Taven since you couldn't do it, Petey.
What?
Yeah, they did. They use their power of the internet.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they absolutely.
See, that's why they don't. Matt Taven doesn't care if another wrestler likes him. He wants the fans.
That's it. But we went out to the Alpha Pro. Is it Alpha Pro? Alpha One. Alpha One show. I had saw Sammy the night before. He's like, just bring your podcast equipment up and we'll do it there. I'm like, come on, can we just do it over the phone? He's like, I've got a janky phone. It doesn't work. All right,
He
Sammy.
probably doesn't even have a phone. I've never seen Sammy with a phone.
He does, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But so I lug all this podcast equipment. I use the podcast equipment. And you know the trick of if you look like you belong there, you belong there. Mm-hmm. So we walk in, like past all the fans. Like I'm like, just follow me. I know what to do, right? And we walk right in. Probably have no business doing it, but we did. And we're waiting. And Dave Chris came out and talked to us for a while. Salt of the earth, one of my favorite people. Mm-hmm. Then the show starts. Sammy wrestles. Afterwards, I'm like, all right, I'll wait until he signs and takes all the pictures. Then I'll come up. And I did. I tried to buy a shirt, and he gave me one for free. And then I ended up giving it to one of the young ladies as a thank you for taking me out there. And you know, I'm going to buy another shirt another time. So it's just sharing the wealth. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, Sam, what's going on? You know, he's like, do you want to do it now? I'm like, no, I don't want to do it now. I want to go home because it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, we're going to do this over there. Oh, fine, you know. But, yeah.
Well, I mean, Sammy's a good guy. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Sam.
I love him.
Yeah.
He made time. He's been a great guy. He's been a friend of the podcast. He gave me 40-plus minutes. People seem to like the interview. People seem to like the Matt Taven interview. You got an hour drive home. I'm just
maybe
saying,
I can listen to it.
Maybe you can. If you download it now off my Wi-Fi, I'll be generous enough to let you use my Wi-Fi.
Okay,
to download the Matt.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it's friends helping friends, my friend.
No, I mean, Sammy and Rich, they have some good chemistry going on. They're the ones that are feuding together right now in Impact, and their match at the next special, I guess you can call it, was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. We filmed that. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of good things coming up on Impact. A lot of good wrestling.
Let's see here. Can you say hi to Party Marty?
Hi, Party Marty.
That's it? That's all you're going to give him?
Hey, Party Marty.
We're done.
Yeah,
Look, we've gone way too long. Yeah. So we're going to end the podcast. We're going to do a special thank you to everybody watching on the internet. Let me promote. Follow us on Twitter at IPDWilliams. Follow me at Dennis77Farrell. WrestlingPerspectivePodcast.com. iTunes, Stitcher. We have the Wrestling Perspective Podcast Network where we have a different feed where we let up-and-coming podcasters just learn their wrestling craft and hopefully grow up and move on and do their own thing. And it's almost kind of like a safe place for people to grow. It's kind of cool. We have the wrestling show, radio show. We're doing a lot of good things. And Pete, maybe Impact will love us. As we'll do it one more time. If you haven't done it, maybe you have. Maybe you want to do it again later. It's not once a day. You could tweet them 100 times tonight. I don't care.
Yeah, until they block you.
But tweet Impact Wrestling. Tweet Scott D'Amore. Tell him you want to see Petey Williams, maybe Dennis Farrell, or Petey and a friend, or just Petey, even Petey,
or just Dennis.
Or no, no, we don't want to do that. No. But tweet them. Tell them you want to see. Give Petey and Dennis a chance because I think we could bring this to Twitch in a almost equal entertaining way. Not so much better, not so much worse, but just even kill.
Yeah, that's what we can do. And then once we're on Twitch, then we'll be like
take over the world.
Yeah, and then we'll be like, hey, now we need a segment on the show.
Oh my gosh.
It never ends. We need our own pay-per-view.
So once we get on Twitch,
it's a done deal. Yeah, once we get on Twitch, what are our next goals?
I want to take a bump in the ring. And not a hard bump, but I want to take a bump.
Now you're going to be a wrestler? Now
No,
you're going to be
no,
champion of the world? Is that what you're going to be?
The streaming champion.
The streaming champion of the world?
I'm going to have my own belt. Is that how some things start?
Yeah, just take your own belt, and then it'll eventually be a belt.
That's it. And then someone
I think like 3 belts started like that in Impact, so why not?
the Legends, isn't that how the Legends?
Legends belt started. Hey, I'm a Legends champion. The
That's
next
what
thing you know-
Booker T did, right?
Yep, and then I think they changed it to like the Grand Champion or something.
And then the Masked or whatever Jeff Hardy was. I don't. Oh, right. Listen, guys, thank you so much for listening, hanging out. We'll have another podcast next week. Maybe not video, but